students who's going to walk around the room now. Now we begin the prepared speech project session. For our first project, we have Toastmaster Lo and Sue, who will be giving her level 1 P2B project to be evaluated by Shatra Roslan of Strategic Leadership 3. Before we invite the speaker up on the stage, we will invite her evaluator to provide an introduction of what Eng Soon's speech is about. Everyone, a round of claps for Shatra.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Tonight, Sung will be attempting her level 1 project 2B speech, in which she will apply the feedback given in her previous speech. The feedback given were: 1. To have a coherent speech structure, preferably in a chronological order. 2. To stick with one clear message. In my evaluation, I will be looking out for whether or not Sung has applied these two feedback to better her previous speech. To Sung, good luck, and back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Everyone, are you ready to listen in to the first speech of the evening?
Yes.
Very good. Then we will invite Toastmaster Eng Soon up on stage. Comparison is the theft of joy. Comparison is the theft of joy. Toastmaster Eng Soon. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Comparison is the theft of joy. Can I have a raise of hands for those of you that know this phrase? And for those of you who know, how many of you actually don't compare at all? A raise of hands. Wow, strong people. Oh, wow, it's very strong. Well, I have to admit that I can't do that, man. And I knew this phrase, but still, until today, I struggle. I still compare. I believe that comparison can be healthy if you use it as a source of motivation and not use that comparison to condemn yourself. Back then, I used this comparison as a way to condemn myself, and I wasn't happy and I lost myself. Back in university, I had a friend called Cindy. We were very close. We were in the same class, in the same club, and even in the same room. You can make a guess. For us to be this close, are we very similar or very different? Different, right? Yeah, actually we are very different. Cindy was very pretty, very smart, and very ambitious. To me, I was everything that she was not. At least that's what I thought. And because of this difference that I see in myself, it motivated me to do better, to do more. And I really did. At first, I was doing great. I was doing better academically, and then I was getting more opportunities, and I was taking up co-curricular activities alongside my studies. I was doing well. But no doubt, I was growing as a person, but I wasn't happy. And the reason behind is because I still compare myself with Cindy. This comparison further made me make a decision that was way out of my comfort zone. I took up a leadership position in a club. To be exact, that position itself was a human resource director. It's like a, okay, I don't know how to explain that, but okay. And it was very uncomfortable for me because first, I already had difficulties tackling the commitments on my hand. 2, I already don't have enough time for myself. And 3, I actually don't like HR. I really don't like it, man. But still, I took it up because Cindy took it up. And I just want to be as good as her. After a few months in, people could tell that I was losing myself. Things were off. It was obvious when I was making more visits to the counselor than my friends. It was obvious when I was crying more than I would laugh. It was so obvious, but I still couldn't see it. And the reason is because I compared, and my ego would always ask me, if she can do it, why can't you? I couldn't accept the fact that even though I was working so hard, I was working twice as much as her, but still I wasn't as capable. I was in this bubble of denial for 3 years, and it finally popped. It was popped by none other than Cindy herself. Cindy, who was at that time the president of the club, she said to me, "Hey Song, I think we are letting you go. We think you should step down. Not only because you are not performing, but because we don't recognize you anymore. And I hope you take this time to reflect and to rest." So I did. But at first, it didn't make me feel any better. I was ashamed, I was guilty, because I didn't finish my term. I was blaming myself so much. I was thinking to myself, if only I was more hardworking, if only I was more disciplined than Cindy, things wouldn't be where am I today. And the shame and guilt only left me a year after, when I slowly learned to reflect and to consciously tell myself, Song, it's okay. It's okay to not be like Cindy. It's okay to fail. Because everyone is different. Your capabilities can't be defined when you're comparing with someone else. You are beautiful for who you are. And of course, I wouldn't have done that without the help of my friends and my mentor, who taught me how to look at myself more objectively and to see the beauty within. In the end, I didn't learn how to stop comparing, but instead, I learned how to love myself. And that's the key to healthy comparison. I have never been this happy and contented throughout the 20 years of my life. And hence, I would like to say, not all comparison is the type of joy, but only unhealthy comparison is the type of joy. That's the end quote to me. Thank you.
Wow, Anson. I've been with Anson since she gave her first speech. I was invited for Icebreaker. I heard part A of his speech. At that time, I thought the speech was quite moving. Today, I'm even more moved. And thank you for surviving surviving the hard times. Next, we have Shanur Nizam of the Persuasive Influencer Pathway, committing to a new pathway, strategic relationships, and he will be giving his third project for this pathway, researching and presenting on logical fallacy. Before I pass the floor to his evaluator, how many fallacies do you know? How many fallacies do you know? This is a tough fallacy now. My favorite fallacy is the sunk cost fallacy. Look it up in your own time. Sunk cost fallacy. Then let's introduce Lai Ling Ling, Chanru's evaluator.
Thank you very much for the introduction, May, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Research. research. What a important skill to have. I feel like it's such a great skill to have in your arsenal, the ability to cobble and compile together information in a coherent way for people to understand. But researching and then presenting it is a different beast altogether, because you're no longer confined to a piece of paper where people can reread it if they don't understand. You gotta present it in a way where people get it at first go, so you don't have to repeat yourself on stage, especially within the 5 to 7 minutes. And that's what we're going to be hearing from Shahnur today. His project is all about presenting a well-organized and well-delivered speech so that it can reach the audience. It can be humorous, informational, any style he chooses, but essentially he has to equilibrate the information he wants to give and the information the audience is able to take within that 5 to 7 minutes. I'll be looking to the two parts of the speech, the quality of the research and the way he structured it, as well as the manner he presented it and how much value it brings to the audience. So I'm looking forward to hearing from Shahnur and how he will deliver his research today. All the best, Shahnur. Back to you, Mia.
Introducing Shahnur's topic. Shahnur, I'm actually really looking forward to understanding what logical fallacy is. In my own time, it's not the most straightforward fallacy for me to understand. Good luck, no pressure. Everyone, a round of encouragement for Shahnur.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Have you ever gotten through a discussion or into an argument where halfway through discussion, someone said something peculiar, something that doesn't feel quite not right for you, but you don't know why? Is it because their logic is beyond our mind to comprehend? Or is it because they might be committing a logical fallacy? Logical fallacy. According to creativecopywriting.com, logical fallacy, it is an error in an argument or a false assumption that proves absolutely nothing. And then according to HubSpot.com, it is a logical gap that invalidates an argument. In other words, the argument has holes in it. Wow. So one might question themselves why we should learn and understand why we need to learn and understand what logical fallacy is. In my opinion, there are two scientific reasons why we need to understand logical fallacy. Two scientific reasons. The first scientific reason is it makes you look smarter. Obviously, if you learn something new every day, you become smarter, obviously. Now, for the second scientific reason is, according to Resilient Educator, by knowing logical fallacy, you'll be able to identify the credibility of an argument and also to strengthen your own argument. Enough talk. Now let me share with you two of the most common logical fallacy, along with some examples, and I will be getting the definition, most of the definition from the bestschools.org. Now the first example is the straw man fallacy. The straw man fallacy. When a person commits this fallacy, the person will distort or exaggerates the opponent's point, and then they refute the exaggerated point. As you can see, this is the original claim, they distort it, and they refute the original claim, so it is easier for them to refute. It is one of the easiest fallacy for anyone to commit. Sometimes it was unintentional because we might have been misunderstood or misinterpreted the person's original claim. To give you an example, this is what the real life example that happened to my friend Izan with his girlfriend Shikin. Okay. So Shikin came to Izan and complained, "Babe, my knees are hurting me. What should I do?" And then Izan told her, if you do proper workout and eat healthy food, it can help reduce the pain. And then Shikin said, "Oh, you're telling me to lose weight? So you're telling me that I am fat? Do you even love me?" And then Izan said, okay. And then
That's me.
he ran away. Crazy people. As you can see in this example, Shikit exaggerated Izan's argument to any unsuspecting individual. They may have been forced to defend the exaggerated or distorted argument. Now, for our next fallacy is the ad hominem attack. In this ad hominem attack, it is when a person committed this fallacy, instead of attacking the argument, they attack the person personally, which has zero correlation with the argument. According to your logical fallacy, it is an attempt to undermine the argument by attacking the opponent characteristic or personal trait. As you can see, she gets the point, but then she said, "You're ugly." Okay. So to give you an example, which happened to me when I was 20 years old, I was having a discussion with my uncle.
It's like a grandfather.
We were discussing about some examination center, an examination center for employment in Brunei. And then I told him some of the questions about local culture and local literacy is useless because they serve no purpose in determining the best candidate for the job. My uncle obviously disagreed. After a long back and forth discussion, he finally pulled out the card. Pulled out the card. He told me, "You don't know anything about work. You have no experience. You have no MIB. I take more salt than you. I older than you. Therefore, I know more than you." Okay. What does all of that has to do with the entire discussion? It didn't really prove that my claim was wrong. In this instance, my uncle, instead of refuting my argument, he attacked me my supposed lack of knowledge about work. He refuted my argument without engaging my actual argument, if that makes sense. Now, there are many more logical fallacies in this world, as mentioned by Mean. It's impossible for me to cover all of them. So this is the poster that I got from yourlogicalfallacies.com. Please download it. If you have spare time, please download it, learn it and study it, and make the world better.
That's true. Thank you.
So these are the sources.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
To recap my speech, we have learned the importance of understanding logical fallacy. It is to help us identify the errors, if there's any error in the argument, and also to help us to strengthen our own argument. I also share with you two of the most common logical fallacy, which is the strawman fallacy and the ad hominem. I hope this can help everyone to improve how we discuss with other people and how we present our argument to other people in the future. With that, back to you.
I feel very optimistic after Shanu's speech. I'll tell you why. He said something which I felt was very positive. Very good for a supportive learning environment. By knowing logical fallacies, you can make the world a better place. This is right up my alley. Are we all ready for our third speech for tonight? Are we all ready? Yes. Unfortunately, I hope I'm not a buzzkill right now. It made me very sad. So let us all get ready to be moved. Okay? Listen in and let's smile for Megan, Karen's brother by the end of the evening.
We need to get tissue.
Before we give the
Tissue, not enough budget. We don't have.
Evaluator, Dr. Sofiana, to introduce what Megan's speech is about.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So Megat will be attempting his level 3 effective coaching, connect with storytelling. Our brains are hardwired, as research shows, that our brains are hardwired to process and store information in the form of stories. When we hear a story, a certain character in a place and time, our minds get transported to this imaginary scene. The purpose of Megat's project today on connecting with story, it is for him to practice using a story within a speech or giving a speech that is a story. He can use any type of story, be it personal, fictional, or his own creation. I shall be evaluating Megat's speech in terms of structure and delivery, structure in terms of audience engagement, and delivery in terms of body language and vocal variety. I look forward to Megat's speech.
Thank you, Sofiana, for your introduction regarding Megat's speech. Everyone, get your popcorns ready, maybe a bit of tissue, and let us all give a round of applause and we invite Megat to give his speech.
When you love someone so much, you do whatever it takes to keep them, to hold on to them. Right?
Yeah.
But sometimes, just sometimes, when you love someone so much, you have to let them go. The Toastmasters, good evening. There was a boy named Faisal, who didn't come from a wealthy family, and he had the responsibility to take care of his two little sisters and his mother right after his father passed away. He couldn't continue his degree, so he settled for a decent job with a decent pay. A decent pay. With the responsibility that was tethered to him, he struggles every single day, even to make ends meet. But Faisal was in love with a girl named Isra. They got into a relationship just when Isra just started her degree. The relationship was beautiful and sweet. So sweet that every single day they will take a picture of each other, send it to one another with a text. This smile is just for you. And they will never ever say goodbye to each other. It's always, I'll see you later, I'll see you soon. So sweet. Even when she was stressed out doing her studies, Faisal would take a picture of himself and send it to her with a text. Don't stress too much, my dear. I know you can do it, because this smile will always be yours. See, while Isra was doing her degree, Faisal, on the other hand, struggles every single day to provide for his family. He tried the best that he could to find a better job, but always down on one's luck. He tried the best that he could to find a better pay. It's always far, far beyond reach. 5 years later into the relationship, Isra just finished her degree, and guess what? They decided to get married. Oh, they were really excited for it. Faisal went to see her parents to ask for blessings. And he got it. Yes, he got it. But, ladies and gentlemen, see, there's a culture here in Brunei where the guy needs to finance the whole wedding and to provide a large sum of money for the parents' girls as a gesture of marriage. See, for someone who only has a decent pay, struggles every single day, it was far-fetched. But because he wants to build a family with her, he was determined to save up. A year had passed since the blessings. He tried everything. But he notices something. Every time that he tried to save up, he had to buy school stuff for the sisters. Every time that he tried to save up, there was not enough food at home. He was always down, he was always stressed. But every time that he's stressed out, guess what? Isra will take a picture of herself with the most beautiful smile and send it to him. her text, "Don't worry, my dear. I know you will make this happen. Because why? This smile will always be yours." That kept him going. That lifted up his spirit. But 2 more years later, everyone kept asking, "So when will this happen?" Her parents kept asking, "When will this happen?" It came to a point where he had to ask himself this question. When will this happen? I know I can make this happen. I've been struggling myself, even to provide for my family. I know one day this will happen. One day? When is that one day? One day. I mean, she loves me. She will wait for me. Wait for you? So how much longer? 2 more years? 4 more years? 10 more years? Are you sure that she's going to wait for something that is not certain? Like yourself? He knew by then that he needs to make a decision. To choose. A decision that he knows that he will regret for the rest of his life. But it was a decision that he made because he didn't want her to wait any longer for something that is not certain like himself. He didn't want to be the reason to hold her back from having a bright and happy future. So he decided, ladies and gentlemen, after 4 long, beautiful, sweet years of relationship, well, after more than 6,000 photos of each other's smiles, he still remembers it until this very day. On the day that he broke off that relationship, as he walked out from her parents' house, he took a picture of himself, smiling, sent it to her with a text. "I know that you will have a bright future, just that without me in the picture. But I always want you to remember this smile will always be yours forever. And lastly, Isra, goodbye." Toastmasters and guests, yes, you do whatever it takes to hold on, to keep the person that you love the most. But to what extent? To what extent? Because sometimes, just sometimes, like myself, Faisal, he loved her so much, but he just have to let her go. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So, what kind of fallacy is it if I say this? Is it a right decision if you regret the decision, yet the regretful decision seems right? Can we be right and regretful at the same time? Is this a fallacy?
It's not oblivion.
And now we'll have a break. Ari, how long do we have?
We have 5 minutes.
We have 5 minutes of break.